It took less than 90 minutes after the first polls closed for a result.
There it is. The Indigenous Voice referendum has been defeated.
Australia has voted no.
It was an absolute landslide, roughly 60 to 40% overall. Every Australian state and territory, with the exception of the ACT, voting no. For those in the yes camp, it was heartbreaking.
Obviously, I'm extremely disappointed.
I'm devastated.
This is a missed opportunity, and I guess what I'm experiencing right now is really grief.
The PM forlorn.
My fellow Australians, while tonight's result is not one that I had hoped for, I absolutely respect the decision of the Australian people and the democratic process that has delivered it. I believed it was the right thing to do, and I will always stand up for my beliefs.
For those in the no camp, it was vindication.
This is the referendum that Australia did not need to have.
This referendum has demonstrated that I'm sorry, but the inner city elites, you don't know what the rest of Australia is thinking. Perhaps it's time you listened.
For First Nations people who supported the referendum, the message was clear.
I don't think we should suffer from any delusions about reconciliation. It's very clear that reconciliation is dead.
Their anger swelling at the tactics of the no campaign.
I think the no campaigners have a lot to answer for in poisoning Australia against this proposition.
We have seen a disgusting no campaign.
There were straight out lies.
Well, I just find it funny that these people make these accusations, but they cannot point to one thing.
We had no campaigners quite simply telling voters that they would lose their house, telling them that they'd have to vacate the country if a yes got up.
It's been disgusting, to be frank.
This is the reason why they've lost.
And an extraordinary decree was issued.
We are calling a week of silence from tonight to grieve this outcome and reflect on its meaning and significance.
So where to now?
This is so disappointing and exhausting because we will rally again.
I don't know what's next, but it's just devastating.
This moment of disagreement does not define us, and it will not divide us. We are not yes voters or no voters. We are all Australians.
Well, Catherine Liddle is an Arunta and Luritja woman. She's also the CEO of SNAICC, which is the National Voice for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children. Catherine, thanks for joining us tonight. Obviously a lot for you to take in. How are you feeling about this today?
Sometimes I'm feeling happy because we've seen some incredible unity in Australia. Sometimes I feel a bit sad because I think there's an opportunity that's been missed, and I think of the pain a lot of people are feeling right now. There's a part of me that goes, oh, do I feel a little bit betrayed as well? And then I go full circle and I go, hang on, focus on what is good. And today I've heard of people, just sitting and being, and that gives me hope and lets me know that, you know what, with a bit of healing, with a bit of time, we're going to get through this. We will get through this as people, we will get through this as a nation, and we'll start working together on, well, what is our next path? How do we get through it?
At the start of this, there was a lot of support for the voice. 65% of Australians supported it, but why do you think Australians rejected the proposal in the end?
You know, I think people as individuals will need to answer that, because I could only come up with guesses, to be perfectly honest, and I think the political analysts will look at this for a very long time. I do look at things like the misinformation, like the blatant lies. We know that what we actually need is a national commissioner, a national Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander commissioner that would hold to account the outcomes that we see in our children.
Catherine, how will you talk to Indigenous kids about what has happened this weekend with the referendum?
Oh, look, I think I'll start with a smile, because they're our babies. They're our babies and we are so proud of them. And I'll say this moment in time does not define you, and it does not define us. Be proud. Be proud of who you are, and understand that we're all going to have to walk on a different path right now. And we've had multiple goes at that. We've had multiple goes. That is why so many people feel sad today, because we've had so many attempts at trying to move forward to get progress, and yet those closing the gap statistics, for the most part, just keep getting worse, particularly those ones relating to our children. So it is time to say, kids, you're all right. We got you. This is going to be okay. This is not who we are as a nation.
Catherine, where to now? How do we move forward from here and try and close the gap?
I think we have to take that time to heal first. First and foremost, I think a lot of people are hurting, but at some point we have to dust ourselves up. We have to, again, look at where the solutions are. And those solutions lie in the heart of our communities, because it's only people who experience disadvantage that can actually explain what it is that needs to be moved. Let's start having those conversations. Let's push in on the need to have that truth-telling. What is it? What is it that we were trying to say? What is it that needs to be explored about our past, where we are now? And what is it that we need to put in place to move forward together? Because the truth of it is, we won't get any further if we're not doing it together.
Catherine Liddle, thanks for your time tonight.
Pleasure.